everybody, welcome to the shop. So this video is going to be a little different than what I normally do. This is a concept that Dana Andrews, Bucky's Customs, and I talked about months before he had passed away. We said, you know what, on YouTube we always see the glitz and glamour, we don't see the mistakes. People hide the things they do. We thought maybe y'all would like to get a glimpse of what it's like a day in the life of a shop. So I'm going to let you in on this for a little while. You can see that my shop is destroyed. I'm in the process of working on this little doodad here. These are all a bunch of discs. They were dowels that I cut into roughly 1/4 inch high pieces. And these guys here were, well, let me show you what they were. They were cut off of these little 4x4 blocks that were scrap from the round Purple Heart table that I made. I just sliced them into 1/4 inch pieces and then I, rounded them off to make a corner. I haven't really decided what kind of a table I'm going to make out of this yet. My sister suggested turning this thing into a serving tray deal that I could drop into a table, or make it a table and a serving tray combination. It's a pretty good idea. I may do that. But I got all kinds of stuff laying around here that I have working with, picking up and trying to make things complete. I always pull out this plywood when I'm putting down epoxy or whatever. These little standoffs I printed, by the way. I'm gonna throw these over here in the box where they go. I've been taking this blue tarp and covering up the Unedited here, trying to cut down on the dust. I don't know if it's working, but it is what it is. A lot of folks, they don't show this portion of it. They don't show the mess that's created when you're trying to make stuff. And making stuff is, there takes a level of creativity to keep coming up with projects. I just posted a video or a poll asking for a little help because, quite frankly, I'm running out of ideas. I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years now, and I've made and built just about everything. I don't know what y'all like. If the CNC tutorials are more interesting, the projects don't seem to get me a ton of views anymore. I think a lot of it is because everything people are making is pretty much the same. And the CNCs and the lasers and stuff, they're making trays and bowls and cutting board after cutting board is all I see out there lately. And that's great. Inlay cutting boards are awesome. They take a lot of skill. But how many different ways can you put a piece of wood into another piece of wood? Let's be realistic here. So, if y'all have any wild ideas of stuff that you can think of that you might challenge me with, I'd be happy to give it a shot if it's something that I think I can pull off. This rug is used just so that I don't wreck the finished side of the project. He goes over here, covers up that little welder over there. This was a project that I didn't show on YouTube. My brother-in-law, he is a avid gun fan, and he has a whole lot of ammunition, a whole lot of different types of ammunition and different guns. And he gave me, well, this is half of the shells that he gave me. And I made him a sign that was every caliber that he had, inlaid in epoxy with a frame, and I made a wall hanging thing with his name and some other things on it. But this one had a little error right here. I know you can't see that because it's too far away, but the numbers weren't deep enough. The descriptions of the calibers weren't deep enough. So I adjusted and oops, went too deep. So that piece became practice. Now I won't throw this away because I'm a pack rat, and I may be able to scratch them holes off the top of that thing and use that piece of oak somewhere. But a lot of times on a Saturday, I'm out here working. This is what I'm doing, going around and around and around the bench, picking things up and cleaning things up, trying to stay semi-organized. I don't, I'm not one of these folks that have to have everything pristine in their shop. I think there's a certain level of, you go too far with the cleanliness. You go so far that you can't have any productivity. You can't get anything done, you know, because you're spending all your time cleaning. And this happens a lot with the Hinkle shop too. I'll get an idea and I'll buy something, and then I'll set it on the desk in the house and forget that I bought it. And then when I clean my desk, I find it and I go, oh yeah, that was something I was going to make, wasn't it? So we'll put it in here, and then it gets transferred out here to the shop, and we go through the process again of forgetting that we were going to use it, and then stumbling on it. These little bearings. What I've got in mind for these is they make them on the CNC. They look similar to a tray, but they're a maze with a piece of glass over the top of them, and you have to work the little marble ball bearing through the maze to the center. Now, if there's any interest in seeing me make that, I'd be happy to do that. I'm going to probably do it anyway, but the question is always, do I film it or do I not film it? Is it something that anybody's going to be interested in, or is it just something that they're going to be like, okay, it's the same thing he's always doing. He's always making this or making that, making a cabinet, making a box. So, like I said, I'm at the end of, I don't want to say I'm at the end, that's a piss poor way to say it. I've had a creative block, let's put it that way, and that's not even a good way to say it, because I have a lot of creative ideas, but I'm trying to figure out, what do y'all want to see? What I find interesting may not be at all interesting to you guys out there in the YouTube world. So I do find that it seems like the project videos where I'm making projects don't seem to do as well as, you know, the tutorials. Sometimes the laser stuff goes, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not sure if it's because I suck at writing titles or making thumbnails. That's possible, I suppose. But, and everybody wants to fight and blame the algorithm, me included. I do fight with that algorithm a little bit. I think the algorithm is, a personal opinion, I think the algorithm is set up for failure for YouTubers. I think it's set up so that they can control the number of people that spike and go viral. I know there's people who would say, well, that's a silly concept. Well, I've got my reasoning for it, and I'm not going to go into a long drawn out thing, but I'm not saying that they're trying to hold people down, but I think the algorithm is, I think if maybe they took a certain percentage of these videos that they don't think are doing well, if the algorithm just had a fail safe and said, okay, just for the hell of it, we're going to take this video and we're going to force feed it to 2 million people, I can guarantee you, if they did that, more people would have success on YouTube, because the algorithm is it's not a human. It just doesn't know that, you know, okay, the 25 people that I've shown this to don't seem to like it. Well, those 25 people, it may be something that they've seen me do so many times that they're losing interest. Where if they would shoot that thing out, you know, pick 1 out of 15, 1 out of 20 videos and just force feed it, the algorithm might get a surprise. My opinion, I may be way off base, but that is what I think. And I think it would help and it would improve YouTube considerably if they did that. You get so many YouTubers, myself included, who after so much hard work, so many hours into this, who just can't seem to crack the code. It puts us in a position where we're like, maybe I've just had enough and I'm done. I'm trying very hard not to get to that point. I will tell you that with Dana passing, it's been more than difficult coming out here and doing this. So I thought I would be able to just, I don't know what the word is, you can just roll on or what, but Dana was a huge impact on what I did here. He was a motivator. We kept each other going. You know, when we would struggle and a video didn't do well, we would build each other up and say, well, just keep going, don't quit. So now I'm relying on you guys to do that for me. I'm relying on you guys to help me come up with ideas and things that are exciting for y'all that I can make or do. I glued my pencil to the bench. There. Another use for the Jimmy DiResta ice pick. Knocking your pencil loose that you glue to your bench. We are just about picked up here. You wouldn't think I would have a belly the size of my belly, but with all this round and round business, but for some reason, all of those cakes and pies and things that Lisa makes me are winning the war. The war on anorexia. Lisa is winning. She's beating the battle in my camp, on my front. This is a Lazy Susan that I always use to paint things. I spin it and paint. This gets over here. Maybe this is all just a little bit of rambling that y'all don't want to hear, but I just don't know. You know, I had a friend of mine post on Facebook the other day, why is Vernon Hinkle only at 10,000 or 9,500 subscribers? I wish I could answer that question, Clint, if you're still watching or if you do watch this. I really wish I could answer that question. But, que sera, sera. We have just about got it cleaned up to where I can start to function again. And I think what I'm going to do today, aside from looking for project ideas and not motivation, inspiration, not constipation, inspiration, is continue sanding this off so that I know that the scratches in here will be gone. And then I'm going to remake the form that I had around here. I knocked the form off. I sanded the piss out of this thing, and I was covered. You should have seen me. I should have probably filmed it. I was out on my back deck doing this, and I was covered from head to toe in epoxy and sawdust. I came in here and I ran it on the Unedited to take a major portion of it off because I was outside sanding for 45 minutes to an hour, and I wasn't making any headway with the orbital. With a 40 grit paper, it still wasn't even cutting it. So I brought it in on the Unedited and took it down to what I thought was, you know, close enough. It's not going to take me long now. Well, I got back out there again with the orbital, and it still wasn't taking it off. So that turned into the belt sander, and I had a pile of shit all over the place. So it was funny. My wife's banging on the door telling me I need a face mask, and I'm waving her off because, you know, why safety first? Why worry about your lungs, right? But that's that. So that's what these pieces of wood were for, was the form for that. I don't know that, I don't think they're going to work now because obviously they're covered in dust and powder. Maybe that's a good thing. But I got to put those back on here, and I'm going to, after I sand a little more, I'm going to then I'm going to take clear epoxy and just paint on top of all of these things, sand it off, paint on it, sand it off a couple, 2-3 times so that I know that it's sealed real good. So I know this video is a little bit different. It's kind of boring watching somebody clean up a workbench in a shop, but the general concept of this is that at some point, if I see there's interest or somebody, multiple people or more than one person comments below that they wouldn't mind having me go live in the shop so that they can watch what I do in here, so they can hear when I make a mistake how I cuss and swear and all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments below. I'm not going to edit this video. I'm not going to make it fancy. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm going to post it just as I recorded it. So I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, that old gag. So we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, everybody.